Hello, everyone. Welcome to Catherine's ESL classroom. In today's lesson, we are going to focus on reported speech. Why is reported speech important? Well, let's get started and find out some more. Today's lesson, reported speech. What is it? Why is it important? Some rules and a challenge game. So what is reported speech? Well, think about listening. What did he say? What did she say? What did they say? Reported speech. Well, think about statements. When we want to tell someone what someone else said, there are two ways of doing so. You can repeat that person's words, which is called direct speech, or quotes, such as Tom said, "I am feeling well." So that's the direct speech. You are saying this in direct quotes. Or you can use reported speech, which is also called indirect speech. Tom said that he was feeling ill. Or you can say Tom told me that he was feeling ill. So why is reported speech important? The importance of it. Remember, in order to increase your English, you also have to be able to understand what other people are saying. So remember when you were a kid and you took two cups and you put a string together and you couldn't hear them if the string was too loose, but if you made it tight, you were able to hear them clearly. So some more importance of reported speech is giving directions. So say you are lost and you need to ask for directions, or someone's asking you and you are giving directions. So they have to listen to you. So that's reported speech. Also following instructions. If you are learning in school, you'll have to follow instructions, or any test that you need to take, you have to follow instructions. Many people not only write those instructions, but they have to verbalize them. So you have to listen. Also the news. If you don't listen, then you won't know what's going on in the news. Or say you want to hear more about the news and you're asking somebody else, they are going to give reported speech. Learning, anything you want to learn, say you're going to a seminar or a conference, or you're just learning from somebody else, you have to listen. So if someone's asking you, they are giving that reported speech. They're either saying it in quotes, meaning directly, or indirectly, by they're just saying it without saying it in quotes. Now some rules. Remember, you have to listen. In reported speech, the verb tenses, word order, and pronouns may be different from those in the original sentence. For example, the present simple tense turns into the past simple tense. The present continuous tense turns into the past continuous tense. So remember, the tense is what's going on, okay? Did it happen in the past? Did it happen in the present? Or did it happen in the future? So I'll give you some examples. She wants to go to Italy, okay? Say, for example, your sister says she wants to go to Italy. She says this out loud, okay? That's why it's in quotation marks, because this is exactly what she's saying. Now, wants is in the present simple tense. But now if you're going to give a reported speech and someone says, what did she say? What did your sister say? So now she's saying this in quotes. You're repeating this in quotes, meaning the direct speech. She said she wanted to go to Italy. You see how wants, the present simple tense, turns into the past simple tense? Now we're going to do the present continuous tense. In quotes, they are meeting at 6, okay? So I would say to you, in quotes, they are meeting at 6. And if you ask, what did they say? Someone may say to you, they said, or he, she said, they were meeting at 6. The reason why I say he or she said is because usually you, one person, will ask. Sometimes someone else may ask, but usually the one person is actually given the reported speech. It's basically reported speech is what did they say? What did he or she say? Okay. Some other examples. For example, past simple tense turns into past perfect tense, and past continuous tense turns into the past perfect continuous tense. Well, if you learn some of my other lessons, you will notice and understand a little bit more. For example, I would say, I lived in New York for 2 months. And somebody might ask, what did she say? Well, he or she said, he or she had lived in New York for 2 months. Now, when I put he/she, well, it could be a man speaking or it could be a female speaking, okay? You notice how the tenses are changing because this is the reported speech, or you could say, what did they say? So remember, reported speech is the same thing as what did he or she or they say, okay? Another example is past continuous tense. They were reading your book. So if someone says, what did he say? He said they had been reading your book. You notice it's in quotation marks? Now that's the direct speech or the reported speech. You're saying it exactly how they are saying it, okay? Now, if you wanted to do it as an indirect speech, or what did they say? You could just say, they had been reading your book, or they had been reading your book, okay? Instead of saying it in quotation marks, instead of saying, he said, okay? Or she said. You don't have to say that. That's just another way of formally saying it. Now, you're starting to get the hang of it. So let's see if you know this one. The past perfect tense changes into the past perfect tense. Okay? Wait, what? Well, the clue is it doesn't change. When it happened in the past and you're reporting it, you're reporting what someone said or what did they say, it's the same tense when it's the past tense. So now that you understand this a little bit further, let's see if you know. He's bought a new bike. So how would you say this? He said he had bought a new bike. Now remember, this is in quotation marks, so this is the direct reported speech, okay? If you wanted to say it in the indirect speech, you could just say, he said that he had bought a new bike, okay? There's lots of ways to say it, but remember, just keep the tenses in the direct order. They had been reading your book. So now what would be the past perfect continuous tense in the reported speech? How would you say it? He or she said they had been reading your book, okay? Now your modal verbs, do you remember these? Your modal verbs are kind of your expression words, like how you are feeling verbs. I could pick him up, okay? You have the modal verb can. Now, if you're changing it to could in the reported speech, how would we say this? He or she said she could pick him up, okay? Now remember your contractions. I'll be there at 6. What's the contraction I'll? What are the two words? I will. I'll is I will. I'll be there at 6. And what does the will turn into would, right? How would we say this? He'd be there at 6, okay? Or he said that he would be there at 6, okay? Now may turns into might. I may not be in school tomorrow. And this becomes he or she might not be in school tomorrow, okay? Now we could say, he said that he might not be in school tomorrow, or he might not be in school tomorrow. You could say it as simple as that, but just remember your tenses. Now some orders. When some people give you orders, it's another way of saying commands, the imperative. The imperative or the command turns into the infinitive. Now, if you remember the lessons, infinitive means to plus the verb. Let me show you. Sit down and be quiet. Now, your mother might say this, your father may say this, or even your boss or your teacher. How would we change this? Your boss told him to sit down and be quiet, okay? You see, to sit. Now, normally the word would be to sit, but it's a phrasal verb, to sit down. So we have to put that together. But that's okay, as long as you remember. Here's another example. Open your workbooks. The teacher told us to open our workbooks, okay? Now you're noticing that the pronoun changed from your to our. You wouldn't say the teacher told us to open your workbooks. It would be our, okay? You're starting to get the hang of it. Now some requests. Well, requests could be in questions. And again, this would turn into the infinitive for reported speech. For example, can you close the window, please? Would become, the teacher told him to close the window, okay? So now you're starting to get the hang of it. Now let's see if you can do this one. Some advice, okay? So the modal verb, again, would turn into the infinitive, or because it's a modal verb in the past tense, you would also make that into the past tense. Let me show you. You should do it again. Now, what would that become? The teacher advised him or her to do it again. You should do it again. Now, what would it be if it stayed the same? The teacher said he or she should do it again. You see how it stayed the same? Now, those are two ways you could say this, okay? You can either say the teacher advised him to do it again, or the teacher advised her to do it again, okay? Now, some questions. For example, the yes, no questions or the WH questions. For example, when? Let me show you. Did you enjoy the party? Becomes, she asked you whether or not you had enjoyed the party. We can also say this another way. Did you enjoy the party? And you would say as a reported speech, she asked you if you had enjoyed the party. So you can say whether or not, or you can say if. Most people say if, but I wanted to give you another example of how people say this. When does the party start? Now, these are your WH questions. When does the party start? Now, how would you say this as reported speech? Remember, you're hearing the news. So if I asked you, if I said on the news, when does the party start? And I asked you, what did they say on the news? You would say, she asked me when the party started. You see? Okay, game time. Now I wanted to give you this one. I like singing songs for my friends. The reported speech would say, Greg said that he liked singing songs for his friends. Okay? I'm going to also help you with the next one. You see how like turned into liked? Okay? Present tense to the past tense. Okay. So if I say, I am so angry today, well, notice that that person is angry because looks like the laptop broke and became angry at it. So if I said, I am so angry today, and someone said, why is Mark so angry today? What would you say? Mark said that he blank so angry that day. How would you say this? Mark said that he was so angry that day. Okay. I am turns into he was. Okay, now you're starting to get the hang of it. Let's see how you do with game time. I play football for school team. What did Fred say? Fred said that he blank football for school team. What's the answer? What's the reported speech? I play football for school team. Fred said that he blank football for school team. What's the answer? Remember, you have to find the verb, I play. Turns into what for reported speech? Played, okay? Present tense to past tense. Okay, I'm gonna speed this up now. I am walking in the park with Tom. What did Peter say? Peter said that he blank in the park with Tom. Peter said that he was walking in the park with Tom. Remember, I am walking turns into he was walking. I like skiing in winter. What did Samuel say? Samuel said that he blank skiing in winter. Which one? Samuel said that he liked skiing in winter. So now that you get in the hang of it, we're going to go a little bit faster. I played computer games yesterday. What did Andrew say? Andrew said that he blanked computer games the day before. Okay, now that's reported speech. You don't want to just say things very short. You don't want to say, what did Andrew say? Well, you want to make it a complete sentence. Andrew said that he blanked computer games the day before. Okay, what's the answer? Had played. Andrew said that he had played. Okay, tricked you there. Did you get it? Congratulations if you did. That means you've been studying really hard. I am so slim. Looks like those pants are pretty big on him. What did Tom say? Tom said that he blank so slim. What's the answer? Tom said that he was so slim. Well, if I am so slim, you have to give a reported speech. You have to say, what did he say? You can say it exactly. Tom said he is so slim. Okay, that would be if it happened exactly at that moment. But because it happened already, reported speech has to be in the past tense. Okay. I went to the seaside last summer. What did David say? David said that he blanked to the seaside the previous summer. What's the answer? David said that he had gone to the seaside the previous summer. Okay. Where's the verb? Went. Okay, I went turns into he had gone. I will buy a new suit in 2 weeks. What did Jack say? Jack said that he blank a new suit 2 weeks after. Okay, let me repeat this. I will buy a new suit in 2 weeks. So what did Jack say? Jack said that he would buy a new suit 2 weeks after. Okay, you're probably doing amazing now. If not, don't worry, I'll help you. So just rewind and you'll get the hang of it. I am so hungry now. What did Mike say? Mike said that he blank hungry then. Mike said that he was hungry then. Now, with reported speech on this one, you can actually say, what did Mike say? Well, Mike said in quotations, I am so hungry now. But sometimes that doesn't really make sense to a person because it could be a conversation that's happening later. So think about the news, okay? So when you're listening to the news and then later on in the day, someone's asking you, what did that person say on the news? So this is how you would say it, okay? Mike said that he was hungry then. So say it out loud and you have to ask yourself, does that make sense? We will go for a walk in 4 hours. So what did Tom say? Tom said that he blank for a walk 4 hours after. So what did Tom say? Tom said that he would go for a walk 4 hours after. Okay, will turns into would go. Will go, would go. Okay, how are you doing so far in this game? I walked my cats last week. What did Carl say? Wow, Carl has a lot of cats. Carl said that he blanked his cats the previous week. Okay, last week turns into the previous week. You can also say last week, but I wanted to give you some more vocabulary words. So when you give reported speech, it happened in the past, okay? So you would say the previous week. You can also say last week. So what did Carl say? Carl said that he had walked his cats the previous week. Walked turned into had walked. Okay, last week turns into the previous week. I cleaned the windows 2 days ago. What did Eric say? Eric said that he blanked the windows 2 days before. Okay, Eric said that he what? Had cleaned the windows 2 days before. Okay, so I cleaned turned into he had cleaned. And 2 days ago turns into 2 days before. Remember, learn your vocabulary words. I will finish my work tomorrow. What did Mason say? Mason said that he blank his work the next day. So what did Mason say? Mason said that he would finish his work the next day. Will turns into would, okay? Now, tomorrow turns into the next day. So these are other ways you can use your vocabulary words. So how are you doing? Hope you're doing great. I have cooked a tasty cake. What did Alan say? Alan said that he blank a tasty cake. So what did Alan say? Alan said that he had cooked a tasty cake. Okay, have turns into had, okay? I visited my friend last week. What did Anne say? Anne said that she blank her friend the week before. So what did Anne say? Anne said that she had visited her friend the week before. Okay? How are you doing? I bet you're doing awesome, and this is too easy for you. Let me know how you're doing. We have built the house. So what did Jason say? Jason said that they blanked the house. So what did Jason say? Jason said that they had built the house. Had built. Okay, from have built to had built. Remember, reported speech is the same thing as what did Jason say? I am taking the garbage out. What did Diego say? Diego said that he blanked the garbage out. What did Diego say? Diego said that he was taking the garbage out. So I am taking turns into he was taking, okay? I will send a letter tomorrow. What did Susan say? Susan said that she blanked a letter the next day. So what did Susan say? Susan said that she would send a letter the next day. Will send turns into would send. How are you doing? Okay, so remember, you change tomorrow to the next day, okay? Or you could say tomorrow. But remember, it happened in the past tense. I always do my homework. What did John say? John said that he always blank his homework. What did John say? John said that he always did his homework. Okay, so little bonus, is this reported speech, which is the quotation ones, which is the direct speech, or is this the indirect speech, but still reporting the speech? Ding, ding, ding. This is the indirect, okay? Because we're not doing this in quotation marks. We're using the word that. John said that he always did his homework, okay? Game over. Boy, that was an amazing game. What did you think? Was this an amazing game too? Well done, everyone. Well, thank you for joining my class today on reported speech. Maybe you can give me some more examples of reported speech and how you would say them. Well, until next time, bye.